Hello, welcome back to Addicted to Recovery, the podcast bringing you the truth about addiction. My name's Christopher White. I'm joined as ever by my dear friend, co-host, and fellow recovering addict, Max Thomas. How are you today, mate?
Yeah, man. How are you?
Good to be back, mate.
Yeah.
Missed you, you know.
I know. It's nice to do these one-on-ones, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
It
ain't done
is.
one for a while, have we? And,
It is.
Well, the guests, it's first to say, the guests we've had and the feedback we've had on all the episodes, I don't think we've had any negative feedback so far, have we? Touch wood, which is just amazing. But, yeah, the guests we've had have been fantastic, but I do like coming on and just having a chat one-on-one.
I do too. You know what it is?
My therapy.
When we get the guests on, it's like, especially when it's like a really interesting story like John, Spiritual John.
Yeah.
Where I was just like, yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
just let them go.
I like to talk. Yeah. You know what I mean? That's why we started the podcast. So it's nice with me and you come on and we can have a chat. I can find out how you've been. And yeah, just talk, have a talk. You know what I mean? Have a chat. I enjoy it.
I sort of, this is a meeting for me because I didn't go to what, it was my auntie. She's from Bristol. My family's originally from Bristol. And she's up. It's her birthday. So last night, instead of going to the meeting, I went round and saw her, which was lovely. But
Nice.
I still need my 2 meetings a week, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I start getting antsy. I know when I need my meetings.
Yeah.
I need to offload. I suppose it's my medicine. If I say my meetings are tablets and I'm going to take 2 tablets a week and I drop down to 1 tablet a week, I start to feel wonky.
Great way of putting it.
And it's at 5.5 years clean. I'm coming up for 2,000 days clean soon.
That's a lot.
Mental, isn't it?
I remember when I got 1,000 days clean.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't get a key ring for 1,000 days clean.
No.
I remember looking like, wow.
Yeah.
Like 1 was hard. 1,000 days. And then like double that, 2,000. It's no small thing.
I've got a funny story to tell you. Actually.
Go on, mate, go.
I was playing golf with my brother.
Yeah. How'd you get
on
on?
Friday, and he told me to mention it because, like, I'm 5.5 years clean, but 5.5 years ago I was mental, right? And I was getting up to all sorts.
Yeah.
And we were playing golf, all good. I think we drew. We played 3-2-1. It was my dad, me, and my brother, and it went down to the last.
What's 3-2-1?
There's 6 points available on each hole. If you win it outright, you get 3. If you draw it, you get 2, and the last person gets 1. It's a good game to play with 3.
With 3 people, yeah, I like the sound of it. Yeah.
And I was gassing away, and I told him about the 2,000 days coming up, and he went, "Yeah, but do you remember when I come and do you remember when I come and got you from that bush?" And basically, this is where my illness takes me. Right, I went on a golf day, and it wasn't a golf day. It was like I jolly up after work, but there was like a society, and but it was like 14 holes because it was twilight golf.
Right.
We didn't normally go, me and my brother, and we rocked up and played golf like you do, normal. And they said, "Oh, you coming for a few beers and a curry?" Right. Yeah, of course, that's normal, right?
Yeah.
That's normal. And
Every intention of having a few beers and a
this
curry.
is like Wednesday night because it was curry. It's called the Curry Cup, right? And no, it is. They do like the Lambooner. One of the trophies is a Lambooner event. The other was like the Chicken Korma Classic.
The jalfrezi.
Yeah. And yeah, cut a long story short, my couple of beers and a curry. I just stayed up all night. I got my golf clubs nicked out of the car, complete unmanageable. Left it open, I think. Golf clubs were robbed out the back of the car. And yeah, went back to someone's house, and then the hours just ticked by. He kicked me out because it's like, I've got to go to work, mate. It's Thursday morning. And I was too just scared, feared up.
To go home?
He lived on the top of like the cliffs, going down to the sea, and it was like there's like a little bit of
Greenery. I know exactly where you are.
I'm not going to name the town. And yeah, I found a nice bush and
Parked yourself up?
Parked yourself up. But then it was all kicking off. Where are you? Blah, blah, blah. And my brother came and got me. And he just said,
it the summer?
Yeah.
So it was a nice day.
He just said, "You appeared from this bush." So I've gone from telling him about my 2,000 days coming up. And he was like, don't forget about that bush.
Yeah, but look, that's a humbling experience, right? That you need. This is what it's all about. Mate, congratulations on your 2,000 days. Yeah. But like you said, with the tablets and the meetings, if you don't take your medicine, you'll be back in the bush, mate.
Yeah.
And I'm under no illusion. Like, you've got a solid step 1. I've got a solid step 1. I'm working with some people now. That's step 1 in a nutshell for me. If you don't do this stuff, you'll be back in the bush.
Yeah.
Do you want to go back in the bush?
No, I don't, man.
Take your medicine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, don't get in that bush.
Don't get in the bush.
But how you been?
Good. You know what, mate? I've been really busy at work. and I'm not complaining. I'm on a great job.
Got a nice contract, haven't you?
Yeah, I don't know if I mentioned this. So basically, good mate of mine, he's done really well for himself. He's a property developer, sort of started with a little 2-bed out in the countryside.
Yeah.
Bought that, put a little extension on it, lived in it for a little while, sold it, bought another one, sold it, bought another one, and so on and so forth.
No,
he's doing really, really well for himself, right? He's building, this is like 6 houses going up on one plot. He's got another one going on, another one starting. He's doing really well. Really proud of him. Wow. And he always used me. I'm a tiling contractor. He always used me for the ceramics until he couldn't anymore because of my unmanageability.
Unreliable.
Simple as that. Unreliable, unmanageable, dishonest, never showing up on time, and just a fucking nightmare to work with. He was trying to build something and he couldn't be babysitting me, wondering whether I was going to turn up or not. Yeah. He had to get rid of me, right? Yeah. Still stayed friends, you know what I mean? He's been right by my side all through my recovery, come up to Southend a few times, went out for dinner when I was in the dry house, you know what I mean? He's not gone anywhere. And our relationship sort of blossomed since I got clean, which is why I didn't really want to push the working relationship.
Yeah.
I thought, let our friendship blossom. Yeah. Then we was on the golf course a few weeks ago and I was like, got anything coming up? I got a nice one for you. So I put the price in, accepted the price. I'm now back on site. Really nice, relaxed site. All the same people, a lot of the same people that was there from when I was working for them before. Yeah. Right now, they've got new Chris.
Nice.
Chrissy 2.0.
Yeah.
And they can't believe the change.
Really?
Right? Testament to the program, testament to the stuff we do. I'm there, the site opens, you can get on there at 7:15. That's when the alarm switches off.
Yep.
I'm walking on site at 7:15.
Wow.
Ready to go.
Yeah,
I'm getting there before they are.
Yeah.
And funny enough today, so
just you on your own?
Just me on my own. I get a labourer, shout out my sponsor, he coming out with me for a couple of days last week. Basically moving things around the job. If I get deliveries, I'll get someone in to move it so I can just stick to the task at hand. Just me on my own, plugged in, earphones in, listening to shares, listening to podcasts. Wow. It's been really nice. I sort of don't want it to end. Probably got about 3 weeks left on there, and then I'm back in the trenches, as we say.
Grind, yeah.
But yeah, look, it's been really pleasant experience. And like I said, the feedback from these guys, they can't believe the change in me. Right? So my mate whose job it is, his dad is the bricklaying contractor.
Yep.
He's always been a bricklayer. He does the brick and block work for my mate. Obviously, it's his dad. So I come out of the house today and I saw him. I walked over, said hello, and he's like trying to get me on the wind up. I mentioned this to you earlier. Said to the site agent, he's like, "Hey, that Tyler ain't giving you no grief, is he?" And he looks at me and said, "Oh no, the Tyler's the only one who's not giving me grief."
Nice.
Right? And I was like, wow, what a change.
Yeah.
I was the one causing the most grief. And look,
and it
not
just sneaks
on
up in
purpose.
Chris, doesn't it, this change as well?
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we're not aware of it a lot of the time.
Not aware of it at all.
No.
And before you know it, it happens. And this is the thing that was promised to me when I first come in.
Yeah.
Get your recovery right. Do all the things I'm meant to be doing. Follow the suggestions. Everything else will take care of itself.
And you're 4 years sneaking up?
I'll be 4 years in November.
Nice, man.
So it's September, October, November. Yeah, not long, mate. Not long.
Well, I remember when you brought your missus to your 2 year share.
Yeah.
And that's 2 years now.
Almost 2 years ago, yeah.
Wow.
Time flies.
And then in that, like the first 2 years was still graft now, but real graft in those first 2 years. Like
I would say the first year was a huge upheaval in my life.
But you think where and in that second 2 years, you had your new baby. I mean, things have it's the gift that keeps on giving, isn't it?
Of course it is. I'd say there's like chapters to it.
Yeah.
I think there's chapters in life. If you look back and you're paying attention to what's going on, it's almost like one chapter sort of ends and a new one begins. And year one was definitely a huge chapter in my life because I moved away from home.
Yeah.
Everything was uncertain. I didn't know if I was going to stay clean. I didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
Then obviously when I moved back from the dry house, it was like, I'm back in the environment that I used to use in. I've now got all these responsibilities in my family, which I wanted and I was so grateful for. But it's hard. I don't know how to live life like a normal person. I didn't at that time. Then into sort of year two, I integrated back into work. That was another huge challenge. I'd say year three was almost like, what else now?
Yeah.
I need something else.
Yeah.
And then it was like, I think we need another baby.
Yeah.
Not to try and fix anything or change it. It was just our
was
family
the right
didn't
time.
quite seem complete. You know what I mean? We needed to go again.
And you had that fresh new experience when the baby was born, like completely different experience.
Exactly that. And then I would say this last year, because my baby's going to be 1 next month.
Yeah.
I'd say this last year, my first year of my second boy's life, has been like a whole nother level of change and growth and self-care on my point.
Yeah.
So I started going gym, started eating properly, really thinking about longevity and keeping myself going and sort of focusing more on work. It's just where it chats us to this stuff, right?
And we have chats, like, and we're both peeling away that I'll go to, I suppose, taking off those masks, one mask at a time, and unveiling who we're truly meant to be, right? And this is doing podcasts and getting more creative. We've spoken about that before. Like these things, just when I first came in, like the first couple of months, it's not on the table. That sort of thinking is not even on the table.
Of course it's not.
No, we're just clinging on for dear life. This piece our life back together again. I would say the last year of my recovery, where I've really got, last 2 years maybe, where I've really got, I've understood it a bit more these last 2 years. All about, and for me, it's all about connection with higher power. When I say higher power, I mean anything connected. So the more I do and the more I connect, be it a gratitude list, step 10, I'm going to kind of come on to that later, talking to my sponsees, talking to my sponsor, doing step work, going to meetings. For me, that is all connection to higher power, because my higher power,
of course it is.
My higher power is NA, and I understand that now. Do you know what I mean? Before, I was sort of learning the lingo and learning like what's a program and all that sort of stuff, going through the steps the first time, not really understanding too much around the steps, but just going along with it like we do.
That's faith.
Yeah, going along with it like
you had faith in the program.
Yeah.
But you didn't really know how or why it was working.
No. I just feel now, and I suppose giving back to the newcomer as well. It's just, again, you talk about chapters in recovery. I'm definitely in a new chapter of my recovery, which is wicked.
I would definitely say this last year has probably been one of the, if not the best year of my life.
Yeah. Amazing.
I'm sort of out of that fog. I can see clearly. I'm realising some of my potential, and I've sort of got faith in myself that as long as I keep doing what I'm doing, and as long as I keep relying on, like you said, this power that I've let into my life and the people around me and getting honest and putting the action in, anything's possible. I'm like filled with optimism in a minute.
And I just hope the next step, like for me, I want to take more of what I learn into NA into my family life. I've taken some of it in there, but I'm thinking that the next step for me in my journey is that I'm learning how to be a kinder person. I'm learning how to be myself. I'm learning how to be more comfortable in my own skin. I'm learning to love the person that walks into the room the first time. And I do some of that at home. Obviously I do, but I want to do more, right? This coming into recovery is the bridge to
normal living.
Bridge to normal living. We learn skills in recovery to take back into our homes. And I think that's the next chapter for me.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Look, I don't mind saying it. We've spoke about it this week. As good as everything is going, there's been a little bit of friction at home, right? And it's always where it is. And look, Nick said it. It's the ones that are closest. It's the ones that are closest. And I don't want it to be that way, because they're the ones I care about the most. And they're the ones I care about upsetting. I don't want to upset them. You know what I mean? And I know they don't want to upset me. But so basically, we're going to be talking about step 10 in a little while. We'll sort of come on to that step now. And it's just a huge part of my program. So about 2 weeks ago, I remember I was in a meeting Tuesday night, my home group in Brentwood. And Mikey was sharing, actually, friend of the pod.
Oh, yeah.
And he came in, and I just came to my turn to share, obviously shared my gratitude for him coming in. I really related to his story. And I was like, you know what? I've got some stuff I need to talk about. And I just got really honest. And I was like, some stuff's going on. I keep losing my temper. I keep, but just, there's been a few times where I've not responded, I've reacted. And I've not behaved in the way that I'm proud of, basically.
I'm going through the exact same thing.
Exactly, right? So, and I don't want to be like that.
No.
And I know that there's a way to not be like that. So I was like, what can I do? So I rang my sponsor. First of all, I shared it in the meeting. Got it out there. Like, this is what I'm feeling. This is how I'm acting. I think it's because of this. Started talking to a few old timers after the meeting, and they're like, what about this? What about this? What about this? And I'm like, yeah, you know what? Time to knuckle down a little bit on my program. So I spoke to my sponsor. Coming on to step 10, I'm like, right, let's up this. What am I going to do? So I was waking up. Thankfully, the weather's been lovely. Yeah. So I'm first thing in the morning, waking up half an hour early. I'm out in the garden, bit of sunlight on my face. I don't know if you've listened to any Andrew Huberman.
No.
He reckons sunlight in the face first thing in the morning when you first wake up is like, does wonders for your biological clocks, how it used to be. You wake up, the sun's in your face. You know what I mean?
Well, that explains why when I wake up in the morning, I'm moody. I go for a dog walk.
There you go.
And I come back.
Sun in your face. I was like, yeah, good luck doing that in England in November, Andrew. But yeah, thanks for the tip. You know what I mean? Anyway, so I'm outside, sun on my face. Head's far too busy for me to be just doing a meditation on my own. I'm like, okay, 10-minute guided meditation. Right. I'm sitting there, listening to the birds chirping, 10-minute meditation in the morning, saying my prayers. I came in, like, literally from a 10-minute meditation, and I was like, oh, this is brilliant.
Really?
Loved up my family quickly, got all my bits, I'm out the door, like I said, at work early. First thing I do, I make a mistake. I cut something wrong. I was like, oh, you idiot. Like, I was fine with it. Took it off, redone it. Next thing I did, I made another mistake. I was like, what are you doing? Like, popped it off. I was laughing, right? If I didn't plug in that morning, and I was still, if I didn't share it in the meeting the night before, and I was still running on that, I would have been kicking and screaming, and it would have ruined my whole day. I know it would have. So I took some affirmative action. I've been praying and meditating in the morning, like actually set, not just a quick little, oh, grant me the serenity, quick serenity prayer when I wake up, actually praying, actually meditating. And every night for the last 2 weeks, I've done a step 10 inventory. And we'll get on to what that means a little bit later in the episode.
Nice, man.
And I haven't lost my temper since. It's not a coincidence.
No, it's great.
It's definitely not a coincidence. So like you said about moving forward with this stuff and you want more and you want to bring it into the home. Yeah. We know what the tools are, mate.
Yeah, I know.
It's just applying
It's funny, we're doing these steps and at the right time, really.
Exactly the right time. And I was like, how brilliant that it works into that. I was like, I better start doing some step 10s if we're going to be talking about it.
But this shows to the listener, right? Like me and Chrissy, we ain't saints. We're not saints in recovery. We do our best, but we, like when we spoke about step 8 and 9, we both will think like we got more people to.
Fucking hell, we got some amends to make here.
Yeah. And like the step 10s, if I'm honest, I don't do enough of them, Chrissy. Really, I don't. That's fundamentally, I don't do enough of them. And I mean, it's for me. But I do loads of prayer. So in my head, I'm like justifying it, saying, look, your prayers are fantastic in the mornings, but really, step 10, he's cleaning out the day's issues and moving on with a clean slate the next day, fundamentally, isn't it?
Yeah.
And I've not been doing that. I've been sitting on resentments. It's come at a good time.
And plus, once you've written it down, there's no hiding from it.
No.
If I write something down and send it to my sponsor, he's got that now. It's not just sitting in my head. Just even that process is freeing. It's like a little mini step 4 and 5. So for anyone that doesn't know, step 10, we continue to take personal inventory. And when we were wrong, promptly admitted it.
Yep.
There's so much in that. So much in there. So those of you that listen to the previous steps, we'll be talking about 4 and 5. Personal inventory is what we do. A moral inventory is what we do in 4 and 5. Step 10, in a nutshell for me, is steps 4 through 9.
Yep.
Condensed into a daily format.
Yep.
Would you agree with that?
No, definitely, yeah.
So I've pulled a couple bits of literature off that I thought they were good for people to hear. Through working the first 9 steps, our lives have changed dramatically. Beyond what we expected when we first came into NA, we've become more honest, humble, and concerned about others. Less fearful, selfish, and resentful. But even such profound changes aren't guaranteed to be permanent. Because we have the disease of addiction, we can always return to what we were before, back in the bush. Recovery has a price. It demands our vigilance, right?
Yeah, that's powerful stuff.
And it's basically like, yeah, we've got this stuff, but it's not gone away.
No.
It's not gone away. We have to keep it up.
In layman's terms, step 10 is a daily check on yourself at the end of the day.
Check your temperature.
Yeah, exactly.
How are you feeling? Yeah. How are you behaving?
Have I harmed anyone today? And there's loads of questions. We're probably going to go through some of them.
Yeah, we'll go through some of them, definitely.
But yeah, it's just a spot check. Sometimes when I did it consistently, and I was having a good day, there was no issues on there, and I'll just move on. But you're still...
Some days it's like, no, yes, no, quick gratitude list, job done.
Exactly.
You've checked your spiritual temperature, and you were sitting at a nice, even room temperature. Exactly. You know what I mean? Other times I get a little bit hot. Other times I get a little bit cold. Like it says here, we use step 10 to create and maintain a continuous awareness of what we're feeling, thinking, and even more importantly, what we're doing.
Yeah, and if I've had it in the past, Chrissy, where I've seen it, say, 3 days on the bounce to my sponsor, and the same 3 things have come up, and then he'd give me a buzz, do you know what I mean, and say, let's talk about this. And that, for
accountability.
For the listener, that's really the process. Like, it's your sponsor's going to read your step 10, which might be 10 questions on an evening, and he might call you. They might call you straight away, or you might call them straight away. But it's just like Chris said, it's written down. There's no hiding from it, is there? Yeah, it's a powerful tool which I'm not using at the moment.
No, but look, you are. So there's this guy, right, Mark Houston. Don't know if you've listened to him. I've been listening to him all week prepping for this. So basically, this is what he said. So this is straight out of the AA literature, right? NA comes from AA.
Yep.
I love AA. I love NA. I love CA.
Yep.
I love GA. I love the 12-step fellowships. I love them all. I choose to go to NA. It's where I found my home. We are not prejudiced or biased to any fellowship. Just want to put that out there. So it says, this fault, which is step 9, brings us to step 10. We continue to take personal inventory, and we continue to put right any new mistakes as we go along. We vigorously commence this way of living as we clean up the past. Our next function is to grow in understanding and effectiveness. This is not an overnight matter. It should continue for a lifetime. When things crop up, we ask God at once to remove them. We discuss them with someone immediately, and we make amends quickly when we've caused harm.
Yes.
Right? It's the same stuff. It's exactly the same stuff. And the bit in there that I really picked up on, we discuss it with someone immediately.
Yeah, nice.
Don't sit with it.
Yeah. And I do that a lot.
You do it all the time. Yeah. So don't tell me you're not working step 10.
No.
Right?
That's a good point.
Basically, what he says, Mark Houston, sorry, mate, to cut you off. What he says is step 10 is not just an evening review.
Yeah.
Step 10 is from the minute he walks out the door, he's in step 10.
Yeah.
Like you say, if something pops up, fuck, this has happened. Chris, this has happened. You're on the phone. So you are working step 10.
Yeah, and a big difference with me in the past, if I had a row with whoever, or had a fight with my sibling, or had an argument with my dad, or wherever it was, I would use that to use on. I would hold that resentment instead of nail it.
Fuel on the fire.
Difference is today, if my dad says something that offends me, or I'd speak to him straight away. And if I'm out of order to my missus, normally I say sorry straight away. That's the difference with me now. I'm not sitting on it. So you're right. I'm working.
You are working step 10. 100% you are.
I might not do the written work as much as
you might not
be
doing the daily inventory, written inventory, but you're still taking your spiritual temperature. I know you are, because you call me all the time and you ring your sponsees and you ring your sponsor.
And some people don't do the phone calls and they do the written inventory. So it's horses for courses, I suppose. Isn't it?
I heard someone say earlier on, you could probably get away with doing half of the stuff we do. But unfortunately, we don't know what half. So you're just going to have to do it all. If you want to make sure. And I do want to make sure, because like, you don't want to be back in the bush.
No.
I don't want to be back in the shed.
No.
Twitching and like hiding from everyone. I don't want to be that person anymore. I don't want to be that person whose best mate has to sack him because I can't fucking wake up in the morning. So I'm going to do this stuff. Do I do it to the best of my ability? Not all the time.
No.
Not all the time. There's no such thing as a perfect recovering addict, right?
No.
We're doing all right, mate. We're doing all right. So I'll pull something else off. It says we've entered the world of the spirit, right?
Yep.
That's essentially what we've done. By the time you've got to the end of step 11, it says, having had a spiritual awakening.
Yeah, totally.
That's the beginning of step 12.
Yep.
So if you believe in the literature and you've worked the steps to your best of your ability up to 12, you've had a spiritual awakening.
Well, hopefully your spirit's loud and your addict's quiet. That's
exactly.
What at this point, it should be, the spirit's got control, not the addict,
Yeah, so now we take that awakened spirit out into the world, which is steps 4 through 9. This guy, shout out Mark Houston. I'll implore anyone, please go and listen to this guy. He's a spiritual giant. By the way, at 10 years, maybe 7 years, he was in the nut house.
Wow.
Completely dropped his program, was living in untreated alcoholism, checked himself or got checked in, basically got committed, got out, reapplied himself to this program and became a spiritual giant.
Wow.
Right? So this is why I'm looking like 7 years, 10-year American guy, yeah. It doesn't go away.
No.
You have to stay on top of this stuff.
Yeah, of course.
Which is why this is so important. So basically what he says, steps 4 through 9 were the doorway that you walk through. Now you're in the world of the spirit. And if you don't stay there and you don't grow, that door slams shut behind you. And you end up, like he said, in the nut house.
Clean.
And, clean. And look, I don't want to talk about, I know people that have like 7 years, 10 years, 14 years out the door.
Yeah.
And it's a miracle that they come back, if they ever do. So just to give people an idea about some of the questions they can expect. So in our step working guide, in the personal inventory section, there are 36 questions, which are a good way of, like we've been saying, checking your spiritual temperature, right?
We could do a mini step 10 now, can we?
We could do a mini step 10 now.
We do 5 questions.
Let's do 5. Look, by the way, that's what I was going to say. 10 is what we used to do.
Yeah.
Me and John now are doing 5.
Okay.
And I actually ripped my own ones.
Right.
Shall we see what they are?
Yeah, go on.
So it says here, our sponsor may have specific questions to add to this. We should always consult our sponsor on any step work we're doing.
Yep.
So I consulted him. We consulted each other. And I came up with these 5 questions that pretty much cover all the areas where I go wrong. So question 1, was I kind at home today? It's like, it's question 1 for a reason. It's the one that causes me the most problems. Yeah. If I'm angry or I'm unkind or I'm not in the room, not present with my family, it causes me the most amount of grief. So
what's the answer to that then today?
This was from last night. Was I kind at home today? Yes and no. I got upset with Theo and I got a little bit angry over a situation that happened. Right. Yeah. So bearing in mind the day before was like, no, I flew off the handle. Actually, no, the day before was, yes, I was much better today. You know what I mean? It's a daily thing. Yeah. It's a daily thing. I'm not always perfect. Then...
Yeah, me last night, was I kind? Yeah, big fat no, I'd say. Yeah.
Big fat no.
And that's the beauty about it, because the truth hurts, right? But the truth will set you free as well. And this is what this step's all about. It's about owning your stuff on a daily basis. Like, wifey sat me down, not sat me down. She just wanted to have a conversation. I was a bit tired and cranky, working hard, all that sort of stuff. But no excuse for it. If I'm living in the spirit, what was my higher powers? If my higher powers running the show instead of Max running the show, tired Max, he's gonna listen, respond, and that situation just passes. Take on her thoughts, listen to her thoughts, And what happened was, I took control of the situation. Max was running the show. I reacted, full Barney. She goes upstairs. Do you know what I mean? It's just, and it was over her having an opinion on something which I didn't necessarily agree with, and her opinion, which is justified, made me feel that I wasn't being the person that I should have been doing. So I went into defence mode, like I always do, and reacted, and we got nowhere.
And this is what happens. I react like that. Yeah. But also, my missus reacts like that as well. Yeah. Right? When you got 2 people, so like, here's an example. She went to the shop the other day, didn't take her bank card. Yep. Hasn't got Apple Pay set up on her phone. But she took the wrong bank card. Yep. And I'm like,
mistakes happen, though.
Oh, you fucking donut. And I was just like, I wasn't very nice to her. No. You know what I mean? I was almost like, I basically, not without saying the words, I called her an idiot.
Were you there?
No. I was at home with the boys. So she's come back, got the cut, and I was still being a little bit thin, got it, went back and had to pay again. So she's gone like to the supermarket twice to pay for the stuff. And she was like, nah, you really upset me. And you know what I did? I jumped up and I was like, I'm really sorry if I upset you. I shouldn't have reacted like that. I don't know why I did. Please forgive me. Do you want me to help you with the bags? And I went outside and got the shopping in. I can't do that before. I'm like, nah, you're an idiot. Why did you do that? You know what I mean?
It's funny, Chris. We're all the same, man.
Like, I know.
The way we react to stuff.
And this is another thing.
Because why are you trying to put her down and make her feel bad? Because I do it.
She already feels bad.
I do it to my wife. It's because, I don't know, is that making you feel a little bit better internally?
It must be, but it didn't. It had the opposite effect. I felt terrible and I had to apologise. luckily we moved on from that one pretty quickly. But she should have remembered the card. But why make her feel worse?
It don't matter, does it?
It really doesn't matter.
But I'd have touched
what
it.
I said was, why ain't you got your Apple Pay set up? What decade do you think this is? I never take my bank card anywhere. Just set your Apple Pay up. And I'm like, it wasn't a great way to react.
Was she going to the shop to get something for you?
Probably, yeah. Just getting bits for everyone.
I'm trying to make you feel we're coming across really bad here.
I'm sure there was something in there. But look, this is
the honest truth, right? This is
on another day, on a good spiritual day, I'll be like, oh, babe, that's so. Do you want me to quickly load the boys up? I'll bring it down for you. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's just different ways to react. So
no, but that's it. And this is addiction in a nutshell, right? Some days I am a fucking lovely, kind bloke, right? And I'll do anything for anyone, especially my wife. On other days, like you get me a little bit tired, or I've not done my programs, whatever it is, or something's made me feel a bit insecure, and I'm overreacting to my feelings. I can be off key.
Yeah,
that's it. And
that can be very unpleasant.
That can be Tuesday to Wednesday.
Yeah, it could be Tuesday morning to Tuesday lunchtime, mate.
I know.
It's madness.
Yeah,
but this is why, right? So another guy I really want to shout out. Earl Hightower, great old AA speaker. He's so good.
Is he still alive?
Mate, he might be. He might be. I hope he is, because he's an absolute legend. He says when he first came into recovery and he was trying to start praying and wanted to start getting involved, and his sponsor was like, you ain't ready for that.
Yeah.
He goes, this is what you're going to say. You're going to get on your knees and this is what you're going to pray. You're going to say, whatever. Yeah? Which is basically like, I'm not in control. I'm handing my will over to you.
Yeah.
Whatever will be, will be.
Yeah.
He said he gets to about 9 o'clock one morning, right? And he rings at the end of the day, what he says is, enough. Then he goes to bed.
Right.
That's his two prayers. Whatever, enough. It's basically like his morning, take my will in my life, his good night review, 2 words. Yeah. That's all he could handle in the beginning. Right?
Yeah, nice.
So he rings his sponsor. He's up at 8. By 9 o'clock, he's done. He's toast. He's like, mate, I'm not going to make it today. And he's like, here's what you're going to do. You're going to get on your knees. You're going to say, enough. And he's like, I can do that. And he's like, day's not going very well. He's like, nah. He's like, start again. He says, enough. Then he says, whatever. That's literally, you ain't got to wait till the end of the day to do a step 10.
No.
Or do an evening review or start your day again. If it's not going well, you can pause, hand it over again, start again. And I was like, wow, you can do that.
Yeah.
And that's a lot like that situation where I was horrible to my missus. I realised I was being horrible. I quickly made amends and then started again. And my attitude was different immediately.
Yeah.
Applied to
I remember
program.
Recently I rang you up and I threw my toys out the pram because I was going to a barbecue that I didn't want to go to. And, in my head it was, do you know what I mean? It was very sane thinking. And you went, I think you should go to the barbecue.
Yeah. I was like, you're going to that barbecue, didn't you?
Well, that was it. And that's I suppose that's step 10, right? And I have to do that a lot. About a lot of things. Just checking myself constantly because my thinking is fucking backwards, mate.
Yeah, so like your will and your life.
Yeah.
That's like take my will, my life.
Yeah.
So your will is your thinking and your life is your actions. So when you hand over your will and your life, you're essentially saying to your higher power, take my thinking and my actions. That's pretty much everything. Yeah, whatever. So back to the inventory that I do.
Yeah. What's your next question?
Did I try to control any situations? Right.
How many no's have you had in that in the last 10 months?
No, it's been a few days.
Yeah, but if you really thought about it.
Yeah, it's been a few days. I just scrolled back a little bit and I answered yes to all of them. Did I control any situations? Yes, I did. I'm working on being more tolerant. I'm a control freak without even knowing. I'm like, don't do that. Why are you doing this? Yeah. And it's with my kids. Yeah. I'm just like, don't be that guy. My dad was that guy.
Lighten up.
My dad was that guy. And
uptight, isn't it?
Just relax, man.
Oh,
I know.
I can feel it on me. It's
and I just I don't want to be that person.
No.
I've noticed I'm sort of turning into my dad lately, a little bit.
It's that uptight, controlling.
Just relax. Just relax. So what I'm saying is, did I try and control any situations? And I've written down, yes, I did. And if it's around my kids 3-4 days in a row, I'm like, oh, wow, I'm doing this every day. This is why it's such a great tool. Question 3, huge one. Was I dishonest? Some days, I think I can get through the day without being honest. Most days, even if it's just something silly, like talking shit at work, exaggerating a little bit about a story.
I'm pretty good at that now.
Yeah, it's just like dishonesty for me. I've been over this loads of times on the pod. It's my biggest defect. Always has been, and it will probably be the
like
thing that I have to
exaggerating
work
on
on.
site.
Yeah, like it could be something as simple as that, or like what I've got written down here. Was I dishonest? Yeah, I lied to my mum about how much I spent on some new trainers.
Why?
I don't know. My Apple Pay, when I buy things on Apple Pay where it's linked up to my iTunes account, it's still linked to my mum's house. Right. So the parcels go to my mum's.
Right.
And she's like, two packages here, looks like trainers. And I'm like, yeah, it is. Got some new golf shoes, going on a golf trip tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah.
And while I was on the website, I ordered myself some other trainers. So she's like, oh, what you got? I was like, oh, some golf shoes.
Why the lie, though? What's that tapping into? Just when the truth is good enough, she wouldn't have cared, would she? Would she going to judge? Is it judgment?
My mum's quite tight.
Yeah. Right.
She's not tight. She's just very careful with money, right? Yeah. And she knows that a few months ago, I was in a spot of financial bother.
Okay.
So that's what it's tapping into. Okay. I don't want to upset her.
I get you. Right? I get you. She's probably got a point.
I said to her, what did I say? Oh, yeah, no, they was having a deal where it was like, buy a tooth. It was like, straight away, my first thought, lie about that, because she's going to have the ump when she knows how much she spent.
Yeah.
When I know she listens to the podcast, she's going to know, because I just said it. You know what I mean? But that's what my default mode is. Protect me.
That's like a defense mechanism.
Protect me.
You know you probably shouldn't have bought the trainers.
Yeah, no, I needed some new trainers.
Okay, all right.
And they were a good deal.
All right. You don't have to justify it to me, mate.
I needed some new golf shoes.
Is that another lie?
Yeah, I needed some new golf shoes, and because I'm going on a trip.
Yeah.
And I need some new trainers. Do I need new trainers? No, I don't. I don't need them.
No.
But I like to have new trainers, and they were at a very good price. So that's a sort of semi-justification.
Yeah.
But
you're working.
I'm allowed to buy trainers.
You're working on that. It's a little white line.
Yeah.
But I think for the listener, if that question was yes over the 7 days, then it's a pattern, isn't it?
Of course it is.
And you have to tap into that, because that little lie could lead into a big lie. Yeah.
So the day before, was I dishonest? Nothing that stands out.
No.
So I've racked my brains and couldn't come up with any situation where I'd been dishonest.
Yeah, nice.
Next question, which is massive for me. Did I allow the mood of others to affect me? Right? So my missus has got the ump, or my kids are playing up.
Oh, mate.
Do I let it bother me, or am I just going to be who I am?
That's tough, though, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's tough to a normal person.
Yeah.
Let alone someone who's like hypersensitive and trying to control every situation.
Yeah, but someone who's living a spiritual life shouldn't be letting the mood of others affect him or her. Do you not agree with that?
No, I totally agree with it.
Yeah.
I'm thinking about my own situation. Like, if I know this is going to sound sick and twisted. If I know my wife is in a mood, I will try and wind her up even more.
In a playful way, though.
Yeah, but she ain't up for a play.
No, of course she's not.
Oh,
of course she's not. I'll do the same.
I'm not putting my arm around her as much as I should and saying, "Oh, are you okay? Would you like me to?
Is there something I can do for you?"
But I need to do more of that.
Yeah. You just like poker. Yeah, no, I understand. But that's just like a sense of familiarity, right?
No, and also, Chris, just quickly, it's like I'm okay to be in a mood sometimes, but she's not allowed that. She's not allowed to be. And that is where, I don't know if that comes down to control or whatever it is, but...
One set of rules for you, another set for everyone else.
Yeah, and people, you're allowed to have off days, right?
Of course you are.
This is what we're talking about right now. We can reset, and it's... Yeah, I need to do more of that. That's what I'm trying to say. But hopefully the next phase in my recovery is to try and bring more of this into my home.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's not worth it, is it?
No, it's just a recipe for unhappiness, mate. Simple as that. Question. Oh, by the way, we only do 5 questions now.
Yeah.
It's a lot more manageable. Question 5, what did I do to aid my recovery today?
Yeah, nice. That's a good one.
Right. I feel like if I'm kind at home, I'm not controlling, I'm honest, I don't allow the mood of others to affect me, and I do something to aid my recovery every day, I've basically got all bases covered. Right. So that's why I picked these 5 questions. So for me, what did I do to aid my recovery yesterday? Prayer, meditation, connected to other addicts. Yep. I reached out to a newcomer, went to the gym, prepared for tomorrow's podcast, which is today's podcast.
Nice.
And I did a step 10. And then I finished it with a gratitude list. And yesterday I was grateful for my family, our home, health, my new trainers, my Kindle, because I love reading.
Yeah.
My fellowship, financial stability, and another clean day.
Whilst we're talking about gratitude, I just want to read something quickly. That come up. Hold on, where is it? I'll just cut this. Yeah, whilst we're talking about gratitude, I just wanted to read this because I thought it was pretty cool. So, gratitude list is quite a big part of my recovery, right? And because, it's a reality check for me sometimes.
It's hard to be angry and upset when you're grateful.
But it says, this is out of the basic test, it says, it's easy to be grateful when everything runs smoothly. If we get a raise at work, we're grateful. If we get married, we're grateful. If someone surprises us with a nice present or an unasked favour, we're grateful. But if we get fired, divorced, or disappointed, gratitude flies out the window. We find ourselves becoming obsessed with the things that are wrong, even though everything else may be wonderful. This is where we can use a gratitude list. We sit down with a pen and paper and list the people whom we are grateful. We all have people who've supported us through life's upheavals. We list the spiritual assets we have attained, for we know that we can never make it through our present circumstances without them. Last but not least, we list our recovery itself. What we have that we are grateful for goes on the list. We're sure to find that we have literally hundreds of things in our lives that inspire our gratitude. Even those of us who are suffering from an illness, who have lost all the material wealth, find blessings of a spiritual nature for which we can be thankful. An awakening of the spirit is the most valuable gift an addict can receive. Good stuff.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Beautiful, mate. Did I speak about this? I don't think I spoke about this on the pod. Talking about gratitude. I've been reading a book by John Grisham. Great book. You know, I like my basketball. So there's a country in Africa called South Sudan, and like per capita, on average, they're the tallest people in the world.
Yeah.
So naturally, the taller you are, the better chance you've got at being a good basketball player.
Nice.
Right? So there's like a huge program over there, and I'm talking war-torn, civil, like
I was going to say
millions of refugees. They are in trouble, right? South Sudan, and I copped a resentment because it turns out they've got loads of oil money, right?
Yeah,
they export like 13 billion pounds worth of oil, and it ends up in like a handful of pockets, and the people are just like devastated.
Yeah.
So anyway, this kid gets selected for these trials for this basketball team.
True story or fiction?
So all the situations are true, real places. Yeah. The characters are fictional, but it's based on true events, right?
He's got picked for a team.
He's got picked for a team. He comes to America to play in a basketball tournament. He's like a bit rough around the edges, but he's got like loads of natural talent, really tall, runs fast, jumps high. Lovely kid, right? Whilst he's in the US, his village gets massacred, burnt to the ground. His dad's dead. His sister's been taken away by the rebels. His 2 little boys and his mum escape, right? I'm reading this book, like, what? They make it to a refugee camp. They've gone like 6 days with no food, like drinking out of muddy puddles. They make it to this refugee camp, and they give this lady a tent so she can put her kids, so she's not sleeping on the floor anymore, and she's crying tears of joy, right? I'm sitting there in my garden, like looking around.
Feeling a bit moody.
And I was like, I've got my phone out, started researching South Sudan. I am in tears, donating to the World Food Organization as much as I could possibly afford to give them. They're like, thanks so much, your donation is doing this. And I'm looking through all this stuff. I'm like in tears. And I looked up and I was just filled with gratitude. Filled with it. I went and see my missus. She's like, I had all like tears running down my face. She's like, what is going on? I was like, the situation in South Sudan really needs looking at. You know what I mean? And she's like, what are you talking about? And I just explained the situation to her. And I was like, you know what? We ain't got it too bad.
No.
We ain't got it too bad. And all this stuff's relative, right? I'm filled with gratitude. When you tap into that sort of stuff that's happening all around the world, like they eventually make it over to America. Like I've got resentment against John Grisham as well. I'm not going to, spoiler alert, I'm not going to ruin the ending, but I wish he'd have taken it in a different direction, if I'm honest. Slight resentment with John Grisham.
Yeah.
I can't have a resentment with anyone, mate. But yeah, gratitude, right? Gratitude, mate.
Massive. So you finish off your step 10 with a gratitude list at the bottom, yeah?
Finish it off with a gratitude list every day.
Yeah.
And that's what I do for step 10. But it was really, really important when I was listening to what Mark Houston was saying. It's not just prayer and meditation in the morning, step 10 at night. We take it out into the world with us. Yeah. And we can use it all day, every day. He was saying he pulls up to the drive-through at 6 a.m. and there's a car in front of him. And he's like, fuck. What? I've got to wait. Why is there a car there? I wake up this early so I don't have to wait. And he's like, okay, I think you're taking your ball back here a little bit. And I do the same. I'll pull into a drive-through and I'm like, fucking 3 cars in front of me. Well, how dare they be in front of me? That's when I'm running on self-will, trying to control situations. And we can use this stuff immediately. I can be like, recognize the situation and be like, mate, you ain't that important.
No.
You know what I mean? So yeah, really, really good step, really good tool to use. And I'm really looking forward to getting on to step 11, mate. Because I really want to up my meditation. Yeah. I really want to up my meditation. I think me and you should go and do
I'm up for it.
A meditation retreat.
Yeah, I'll look into it, man. Chris, I asked the viewers this morning to send us some questions. I thought it'd be good to end the podcast with like 10 minutes worth of viewers' questions.
Nice.
We've had quite a few come in. I'm going to pick some.
Yeah, thanks for getting your questions and your comments and your messages in. We really like hearing them. It's good to know that this has got a bit of a reach. You know what I mean?
Yeah, honestly, I get we get about 5. I'm going to say different messages every single day from people saying thank you and they're loving the pod and all that sort of stuff. And when we read some of them, I'm a softie and I've normally got tears running down my face because and this is all over the UK, like from Scotland to Wales to Cornwall. Just a big thanks for that because you don't need to do it. And the messages, it makes it for us. So what do you look for in a sponsor and how can you approach them?
We've touched on this before. For me, it's very easy to get sucked in to, especially if you're like can be a bit of a materialistic person, which I can be at times. Be like, oh look, he's got a nice gold watch and a nice car. Yeah. He's got a bit of what I want. Yeah. Right. And I would advise, don't look for that. If they've got that, fine. Look at the way they carry themselves. Yeah. Look at the way they are in the meeting. Are they getting there early? Are they staying late? Are they taking numbers? Are they working with newcomers? And as far as it goes to approaching them, it can be a very daunting thing. We've mentioned this before. Yeah. I know you had some situations around it. I had this false confidence in the beginning, so I wasn't that bothered. Funny enough, my sponsor, I asked him to be my sponsor in my first run around, and he was like, I can only take you through this way because I haven't been through the green and gold yet. And I was like, I know, I want to go through the green and gold, not a problem. Then finally, when it did come round, he had been through the green and gold and he became my sponsor. But when it comes to asking someone, people ask me sometimes and I have to say no. I'm not just going to be like, no, I ain't sponsoring you. No. I'll be like, you know what? I've got a lot on at the minute. I can't really give you the time you deserve. And I'll give them some numbers. I'll be like, have you thought about this guy? Have you thought about that guy? Have you thought about that guy? It's not a rejection. No. It's just, if I can't give the person all the time they deserve, it's a disservice by taking them on as a sponsee. So I know it can be daunting for people, but just do it. What is the worst that could happen? Go and ask someone else. Yeah, I couldn't agree more. I would say don't look at the outside of the person, look at the inside. Definitely. Are they kind? Are they caring? Do they spend time with a newcomer at the start of the meeting? Engaged in the meeting. And
Yeah, don't do what I do, and don't act as if it's like your first date and you're asking someone that you love out for the first time and completely crumble, and then your voice breaks. Don't do that. Just go for a coffee or something like that.
Exactly.
Thanks for that question. Right, this is from a mate of mine. What's the biggest obstacle during COVID for meetings?
I got clean during COVID.
I know, clean on the screen, eh?
Yeah, I got clean. I know a lot of people struggled. Funny enough, I was chatting to a guy at the meeting the other day, and his recovery sort of started unraveling during COVID. Couldn't get on with the meetings.
People relapsed as well, didn't they?
Loads of people. And look, I mean, I personally loved the Zoom meetings.
Yeah, shout out Zoom if you want to sponsor.
Yeah. I loved the Zoom meetings because for me, in the beginning, going through a 90 and 90 in the real world was tough.
Yeah.
Not just physically getting there, but me being out of the house in the early days was a trigger. Like, I would have to drive past places where I could pick up. When I could do it from the safety of the dry house on my laptop, it was like a blessing.
Yeah.
So I loved it. I know a lot of people didn't, but...
Because the big issue for COVID was obviously you had to stay on your own, isolate. And isolation for addicts is fucking like...
Yeah.
That's kryptonite, do you know what I mean? It's like, it's not good. And thank God. It was amazing, I thought, how quickly they got the online meetings going. Like,
it was like instant.
That's where, like, our service, and we'll talk about that in a minute because there's another question coming up for that. Like in our fellowship, you have area, which is like Essex area. All the meetings in Essex get together once a month, and that goes up to region, and that goes up to UK national, and then eventually you would have like a world committee of NA effectively, and they must have acted very quickly to have meetings like a panic cobra meeting, really. How do we continue this recovery? And I thought they did it fantastic.
And the website was updated immediately. Just click a link, bang, straight on. And you know what? Funny enough, I rang the NA helpline before I went to treatment. And I was like, how do I get into an online meeting? He's like, have you got access to the internet? I'm like, yeah. He talked me through it. Within 5 minutes, I was on a meeting.
Yeah, it was amazing. And the good thing is that I suppose COVID, one of the only positive things that come out of COVID from our point of view is that a lot of online meetings are still going. People who can't get to meetings, they might have kids or disabilities, all that sort of stuff, they can still get to meetings. And it's funny, you can do a meeting in Hawaii, like you can do a meeting in Vegas, you can do wherever you want.
And there's a 24-hour marathon meeting that literally runs all day, every day. Meetings. If you need a meeting, you can jump on. So blessing in disguise, I would say. Yeah,
definitely. Right, this is from my good mate, and she's going through a bit at the moment. So, she says, tell us what Buzz, which is my German Shepherd dog, Chrissy's met him, does for your recovery. And I've touched on this before, but he just turned 4, actually. It was his birthday.
Oh, really?
He's like, he's my
Happy
son.
Birthday, Buzz.
He's like, he's my son. But yeah, he's consistency. He taught me to look after someone, gets me out of bed in the mornings, gets my prayer on point, because I pray when I'm walking my dog. He came into my life for a reason. He's always happy to see me. Yeah, he's just, soulmate, really. So it's...
he's a ledge.
Yeah, no, he's a good boy, but... he's definitely the big thing for him is even rain, sunshine, snow. I need to be out of bed at 7 a.m. Do you know what I mean? And that wasn't always the case for me.
No,
especially when I was working and he weren't about. I'd love to. Do you know what I mean? If I weren't feeling quite great, which I don't feel some mornings, and he weren't about, then that little bullshit text comes in saying I'm not feeling very well. I'm staying in bed today. That can't happen.
You know what I mean?
So
once you're up, you're up,
exactly.
And you've got to get up for your boy. Beautiful.
Can you talk about the scope of service available as you grow within the fellowship?
You take this one.
Yeah. So I'm going to talk you through my service, basically, what I've done since I've come in and how it develops, right? Because you can't, when you first come into meetings, you can't go and just be secretary and take a meeting. That's why there's clean time requirements for some of the service positions in meetings. So initially when you come in, there'll be making the teas and coffees. That's on offer. You don't have to be a certain amount of clean time. You need to show some willingness and come to meetings regularly.
You can be a greeter and say hello to people as they come up to the meeting.
Exactly. So we've got a male greeter who's on the door. We've got teas and coffees. We've got treasurer. There's a clean time commitment for that, but there's a treasurer. So the pot gets collected at the start of the meeting and that person's responsible for paying the rent, etc., etc. There's a male newcomer rep. There's a female newcomer rep. And really, it's the cleaner you get, really, I suppose, and the more invested in the program and the more willingness you show, you move on. I went from male greeter to taking loads of meetings. I've been secretary at loads of meetings, and then I've done some work up at area. But I suppose it is service will develop as much as you want it to develop, really, in a nutshell, isn't it? If you want to, if you want to just be making the teas and coffees and I don't even say the word lower scale of the less responsibility, I say, when it comes to that sort of stuff. But if you want to do that, happy days. But if you want to go and be the person who sits up at regional and represents Essex area, then do you know what I mean? Then there's no one holding you back.
It takes all sorts of people, right? What I love is someone who's got a load of clean time.
Yeah.
Setting up the chairs.
Doing up the washing, washing up.
I love that.
Yeah.
Because I heard this thing. It's like, this is the only organisation that you come in and you think you're a big deal.
Yeah.
And you work your way up to servant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And it's true. It's like, it takes a certain person to run a successful meeting. And when I say run, I mean secretary up the front, right? Yeah. You're great at it. You're great at it. I've seen meetings that are sort of struggling and you come on board, take over secretary, and you command the room very well. It takes a certain type of person to do that. I also like the fact that you got people like Paula, who's been on the podcast. Yep. She's great at area, right? Yep. She doesn't mind ruffling a few feathers when they need to be ruffled, right? There's another lady, Amanda, I'm sure she's going to come on. She's great at area, She knows how the system works. She knows the traditions inside out. It takes all these sorts of people. And then you'll have other people at area that are literally just observing. They haven't got a commitment. They're just there to see how it works because they're intrigued about the fellowship that saved their life. Right? For me personally, I struggled at area.
Yeah.
I struggled.
Same as me.
I love the fellowship at the group level. My home group on a Tuesday night at Brentwood, we have got a rock solid committee. I'm treasurer. I was secretary first year it opened. We opened it last year, reopened it because there's always been a meeting in Brentwood. But funny enough, COVID closed it. We got it up and running again. We've got a rock solid committee and we're all there for each other. We're always taking new people on and then people go out the door. New people come on, new people go out the door. But our core group is there. And I love that sense of fellowship that we've got with each other. And the guy taking the meeting is no higher up than the guy setting up the chairs and doing the washing up.
No.
You need everyone. But it takes certain different personalities that fit into certain roles.
Fundamentally, service for me is there to make you a better person. And that's what I've learned. I didn't realise that when I first came through the door, but we talked about it loads. It teaches you, subconsciously teaches you skills. So when I came into recovery, I had a massive ego, thought I was the main man and just had it all on point. And really, I was just a numpty. And I just learned how to be a better person by doing service, teas and coffees, like looking people in the face. How are you doing today? It's not all about the Max show.
It's a part of that bridge to normal living.
Exactly. How are you doing today? Talk newcomer rep, which I'm newcomer rep at the moment. And
it's a good commitment.
Yeah,
it's an important one.
It's, again, giving back to the newcomer.
Yeah, anyone who doesn't know, basically, you say, I'm newcomer rep for this meeting. Anyone who's new around or even not new, just wants to connect, come see me after, I'll give you my number. And you can put them in touch, tell people where meetings are. Yeah. It's like a friendly face that you've made. So like we're saying about approaching sponsors, you've said at the end of the meeting, approach me. Yeah? And it takes that little bit of stigma out. People might think, I like what he shared. I want to talk to him, but I don't know. Maybe he doesn't want me to come up to him. You've said, come up to me.
Yeah, most of the time, my way of doing it is if there's a newcomer in the room, I'll go to
You'll
them.
Approach them. Yeah. And that's the best way to do it.
Yeah. We do it like a little pack of leaflets or whatever.
Yeah, that's it. Little starter pack. How to be an NA member starter pack.
Because I remember how hard it was walking into the meeting for the first time, head down at the back, do you know what I mean? Not been able to say my name for 3 months. That was my story. So it's service. To answer that guy's question, service for me, you can move up as far as like there's service in the prisons, you name it, you can do whatever you want. But really, fundamentally, service is what I've learned is to teach us skills for that bridge to normal living.
Yeah, out of self into service. That's all we got to do. Brilliant, mate. Been lovely chatting. I think we're all good. I'm really looking forward to this golf trip the weekend.
Where are you going?
Le Touquet in France.
Yeah, nice.
Belle Dunes and Les Pins.
What handicap are you going off?
15.7 at the minute. I'll probably get a couple shots.
That's that dishonesty again.
Want to get my EG up?
I'm joking.
15.7. Not really fucking about. Yeah, really looking forward to it, mate. Couple days away with the boys, going with my little brother and all the boys from my golf club.
Nice.
Really looking forward to it. Actually, looking forward to spending time with my brother. I mentioned it before. We clashed badly.
Yeah, younger brother,
I really let him down, and our relationship's flourishing. Another gift of recovery, mate.
So yeah, we'll have a great time, and we'll see you guys next week.
Brilliant.
Cheers.